So a few months ago, I made an intentionally annoying Minecraft mod called the Diffy Experience. The mod adds a creature called Greg, who's there to be your best friend. Later, I updated the mod and added Breg. And Breg, well, no one likes Breg. Honestly, this little piece of shit doesn't even deserve an introduction. Fuck Breg. Then I realized that the mod still wasn't annoying enough, so I added like 12 of Greg's cousins. Anyway, so fast forward to now, and people are still banishing Greg to the underworld. Unacceptable. Clearly, the mod isn't annoying enough. Besides, if people have already beaten the mod, then it's likely they'll stop playing, and therefore, stop being annoyed. Since the goal of the mod is to annoy as many people as possible for as long as possible, we have to add a feature that is both addictive and annoying simultaneously. So then it came to me. I can add gambling! I mean, gambling games are literally rigged, and thereby annoying, yet people just keep playing them for some reason. It's perfect! So the first thing I did was to update the mod to 1.20.1, because I feel like I should probably do that, because let's be honest, who even plays 1.19? But after that, the first thing we need to do is add a new creature that will force the player to gamble. So I started by copy-pasting Greg's model and retexturing it. I also added some glasses and a top hat. Listen, I don't know what a casino owner is supposed to look like, okay? Leave me alone. And now we just need a name for this creature. Roulegg. Because it's like Roulette and Greg combined. Just don't question it, okay? I then made a model for a roulette table, and now we have this. You right-click the table, and it activates and spawns a Roulegg in front of you. I also made this GUI for the actual gambling to take place in. You can choose a color to place your bet on, and roll the wheel. I didn't feel like adding a rolling ball or anything, so it just kind of lights up the part of the wheel that is currently selected. Also, don't question the title. This clip is from before I stole the name for the creature from my comment section, but, shh. Also, we can't have people getting a break from the annoyingness by just sitting here without actually rolling the wheel. So, the wheel now makes this pleasant sound. My ears. Now, I think what drives people to play games like these is the fact that they think it's a 50-50, but we can't have this game actually being fair, so we just have to have people thinking that it's fair. So the Roulette wheel also has these two so-called Breg slots, and if they get chosen, you lose no matter what color you picked. Now, looking at the wheel, you might be thinking to yourself, there's 18 total slots, and 8 slots of both colors. So that means there's about a 44% chance of winning. The game might be a little bit rigged. I don't know. There might only be like a 30% chance of winning. By the way, if you give away this information, we will unfortunately have no choice but to Greg you. So if I were you, I wouldn't mention this to anyone. Anyways, I updated the Roulegg GUI to include a few more options. Now, basically, in, real life roulette, you tend to bet money on colors. But let's be honest, betting mere cash on roulette is boring. So instead of betting money, you bet your soul. Yay! So basically, you write your bet right here, select a color down here. You can also see how many souls you have right here. By default, you only have 1. When you roll the wheel, Roulegg will bet the same amount of souls as you do. So if you win, you get the same amount of souls as you put on whatever color you chose. And if you lose the amount of souls you bet. But Diffy, what if the player bets his whole soul all at once and just happens to get lucky and steal all of Roulegg's soul, just like that? To prevent this, Roulegg has 2 souls, while you only have 1. Idiot. Now you might have noticed this button with a question mark in the top right, and you might be thinking, oh hey, this UI is a bit complicated, so maybe I'll press this obvious help button, and it'll tell me what to do. This button doesn't help you, it just chooses a random bet for you and rolls the wheel. Oh, but what if the player forgets to choose a color and rolls the wheel anyway? Well, I could just disable the roll button until a color is chosen, but that would require too much work, let's be honest. So if you don't choose a color, it does roll the wheel, giving you false hope, but you still lose no matter what the wheel lands on. Now to actually beat Roulegg, you have to make him lose both of his souls by beating him in roulette enough times. And I mean, seeing as how Roulegg starts with twice as many souls as you, I figured that I should probably add some way to get more souls before putting them all on red. So you can now use 4 of Greg's souls and glass pane to craft an extra soul. And if you eat it, it'll just give you poison for 20 seconds. Yeah, for it to actually give you an extra soul, you have to cook it first, dumbass. So you can either play the fair game and just play a fun game of roulette against Roulegg, or you can be a horrible person and murder innocent Gregs and cook them to get extra souls. But like, why would you do that? Do you really hate Greg that much? Now, as I said earlier, our goal is to keep people annoyed for as long as possible, and in this case, that means that we have to keep them playing Roulegg for as long as possible. Now, what keeps people gambling in real life is that they hope to win money. Now, we do technically already have something like this with the soul system, but currently, there's not really any reason to want to risk your only soul only to get a few extra ones, since they don't really do anything. So we need to give the player a more concrete goal, something that motivates them to gamble. So if you win, you get Roulegg's soul as an item. Oh, and also it self-destructs. Why? Because, I don't know. Roulegg's soul as a goal to strive for does help keep people gambling to some extent, but we still need to inspire people to start gambling in the first place. So one of the first things that came to mind was that we need to make the roulette wheel more visible. It currently just generates in random places in your world, but seeing as how it's just this kind of dark brown block, it's not really the easiest thing in the world to notice. Besides, I feel like most people would feel the need to leave the premises as soon as they saw some unknown device with Greg's face on it. And I mean, this is just clearly caused by all the Greg slander that Greg supporters and Greg's propaganda machine are spreading. Please spread awareness and put an end to the Greg racism. Just know that if you ever see a Greg device in the forest, it's not going to explode when you interact with it. It's only going to make you gamble away your soul. And then it will explode. So I thought I'd construct a nice and welcoming environment to make the roulette wheel easier to spot and to make the players feel truly welcome and to make them stay for longer. Let's make some nice tall walls with some roulette blocks in the middle and a door. You know, I feel like this is missing something. Wait, I know. Barbed wire. Yes. Ah, perfect. Okay, let's be honest, who wouldn't want to enter this building? Now we have this whole house generating with the roulette wheel, hopefully making it more visible. But what if something is blocking it and the player still doesn't notice it? Or what if the player is so reluctant to approach it that they forget that gambling is the most fun activity? We need something to counter this. So now, whenever you're close to one of these buildings, there's a chance that an ad will pop up on your screen and offer to take you directly to Roulegg's casino. And if you press yes, it will pull you straight to the destination in case you got tired of walking. What the What is this? Why am I bouncing? Huh? If this works perfectly as intended. What do you mean? Get a chance at winning one of Roulegg's famous souls. And also if you press no, it asks you, are you sure? And it switches the positions of the yes and no buttons to make you accidentally press... What? Fuck off! Oh my god, Brad, get off my screen, no one likes you. No, stop. Also, if the player decides to stop gambling and tries to leave the Roulette GUI, they instead get fed gambling-related inspirational quotes to try to gaslight them into going back to gambling.
99% of gamblers quit before the big win. 99% of gamblers quit before the big win.
Now, if they still try to leave, the exit just closes itself. Can't leave if there's no exit. Anyways, now we have a reward to give the player when they win. But what we need now is something that happens when they lose. We can't just have them having fun and leaving scot-free after losing all their souls. No. So if you lose all your souls, you get involuntarily transported to the Roulegg dimension. And to really enhance the gambling experience, let's just not mention this at all to the player beforehand. Now you might be wondering, since all the stuff that happens with the roulette wheel is based on the soul count of the player that is currently gambling, what would happen if you played in multiplayer and just had players switch places as soon as someone's soul count was low? When a player starts gambling, that specific roulette wheel is bound to that player. So if another player tries to open the menu, their soul gets sacrificed to Roulegg and added to his soul count. Now wait a minute. So at this point, All the player has to do to beat Roulegg is to gamble a few times and hopefully get lucky and get his soul. That doesn't seem so bad. What? You thought you were done when you got his soul? To truly cement yourself as a gambling addict, you will have to take it a step further and banish Roulegg to the underworld. But before doing that, maybe you should ask yourself, like, why? What has Roulegg done to deserve this? All he did was provide you with invaluable investment opportunities. Like, sounds like a classic Breg supporter move. Anyways, here's how you banish Roulegg. First thing you have to do is collect 3 of Roulegg's souls and use them to craft— Wait, hold on, did you just say I need 3 of them? Do I have to beat Roulegg 3 times? Isn't it all just luck-based? Yeah, sure, buddy. Sounds like a skill issue to me. Yeah, so what you have to do is collect 4 of Roulegg's souls, 4 gold ingots, and a diamond, and use them to craft a culmination of Roulegg. Next, you'll have to collect 4 obsidian and a Roulegg block. But wait, the Roulegg block is unbreakable. How am I supposed to mine it? Using the password? Obviously. Genius. And I mean, this puzzle is very simple. Like, all you have to do is just enter the password, you know, like the correct one. But if you really need to, you can buy a hint for like 1/5 of a soul. Check the bottom. Anyway, so when you have the Roulegg block, all you have to do is to once again survive until you reach stage 4. And get teleported to the Greg dimension. I feel like I've said this every video. It's always the Greg dimension. Now in the Greg dimension, you'll once again have to build a shrine with the Roulegg block at the very top and right click it with the culmination of Roulegg. Yay! You've done it. No more gambling. I don't know. Also, there's now a 5th ending for the real Gregors out there. If you're a really bad person and hate the innocent creature of Greg for some reason, you can now get the advancement known as Greg Genocide by banishing Breg, Freg, Greg, and Roulegg to the underworld. Yeah, it's easy. I don't know if this is actually, like, doable. I mean, I'm sure there's some way of doing it, but, like... Anyways, as always, download in the description. Might take a while for it to get approved by the CurseForge admins, though. Play or... no balls.